one question. A number of years back, I heard of a rumor basically, and a friend of mine ended up going to this place. And what it was is that budget cuts required that the Veterans Mental Health Facility at American Falls be shut down. Do you know of anything behind that?
I don't know of anything about that.
Because I was concerned about whether or not it had reopened or what.
And I'm not.
And I don't know whether, I believe it's run by the state of Idaho, I'm not absolutely certain. I tried to follow up some information, couldn't find anything.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're still open.
Yeah, I think they still are. I gave you a number that you called out in the Department of Veteran Services, Idaho Department. And that's the one thing that we tend to mix. We hear VA, and that's a federal program. We
Right.
have a Department of Veteran Services, which is a state program.
Yeah, and that's where American Falls falls under?
I would believe so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I don't remember, we have the council meeting about every quarter, and I don't remember anyone saying anything like that, and we discussed this.
These council meetings are held here or Boise?
Well, usually they're down in Boise, unfortunately.
Okay.
I was able to get one up here. We brought in the director from Walla Walla, the hospital, Walla Walla, the one from Spokane.
Right,
We had 14 presenters, 18 people in the audience. And there were 5 of us who were required to be there, so it was not a good show. And so that's one of my challenges. Is when I talked with the governor, when I came off the state board, I said, you know, we need to have the Department of Idaho Veteran Services understand that there's veterans north of Riggins.
gotta start taking it more seriously. These people are your
These numbers,
neighbors.
We're up here, and I know Barry may have run into it when I was campaigning. I was taken back by the number of people at doors I knocked that were veterans that had no idea what their benefits were and how to exercise those benefits. And so it's a real challenge, and I think we really feel it here because we're in that never land. When I first got involved, they said, oh, you gotta do everything from Spokane. And I said, well, that's 90 miles away. And they said, well, we'll take care of it. So my records wound up in Baltimore. So that was a little bit closer, but finally I had a petition to get everything down to Walla Walla. So you talk to the department, they said, well, north there, you should be going to Spokane. Center, you're supposed to be going to Walla Walla. Southeast, you go to Salt Lake City. Southwest, you go to Boise. So they're trying to get it so one veteran center takes care of the whole state, right? Because we fall through the cracks here.
It doesn't surprise me.
You know, I had a procedure that I needed to have done, and Spokane said, well, yeah, we'll take care of it, just come on up. And I said, well, that's 90 miles, I'll choose the choice program, which says if you are more than 40 miles away from a facility or they can't get you an appointment within 30 days, you can go to the local community and get it done. Yeah, that doesn't work, because there's no money. And so that's some of the things that hopefully we'll see changes in the veterans programs.
Let's hope so.
How many women are involved in this program you're talking
We
about?
only had one, and then we had a terminator because she wasn't doing well. So we've had one,
Just one?
just one. Mhm.
Do you have any idea how many in the population?
Of females, I don't know females, and I wanted to clarify too, and this is a figure I give in Bill, so that 10,403 is district-wide, so that's in 5 counties. And then Latah specifically is 2,891 veterans in your community here.
And you don't know how many women of
I
that
don't, and that's
population?
something though I could probably get that figure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
so
one of the hard things to do. They just don't want to identify themselves.
Mhm.
That's one of the things at the university. We've got a large number of veterans attending school, but we don't know them because they don't want to identify themselves. They're afraid.
You know, service-wide, we have about 15% females in the military, and I would imagine our veteran population is somewhat on the lower side because there's a lot of older veterans before females became more involved.
Yeah, but I think
in it.
that's
So-
35,000, which is the post 9/11, you'll see a good.
Yeah, that would probably be about 15% in there.
Well, what are they afraid of?
Remember when I talked about, I'll give you an example in the classroom. They go into a classroom, they have a level of understanding of the world situation. They get to a professor that doesn't want to hear that, or the students are, you know, I taught a class, and I remember one we had a couple Marines in there, and it was one of the generals had gotten involved with adultery. And the student said, what's the problem with that? And I thought, well, I'll just have this young Marine tell them. And they didn't understand that the military has a different set of standards. And so by the end of that hour, we were supposed to be talking about finance, but we wound up talking about this the whole time. And the students felt, said, well, we understand that. So there's that different background, that different openness, the team versus individuality. That's one of the major issues, that they're so embedded in a team concept. We work for the team, we strive for the team to be best. All of a sudden, I find myself in college. Who do I work against? That creates that curve. And I have no buddies to help me. And so that's why when I was with the ROTC, we tried to integrate some of the veterans into that program. All the young men and women wanted to talk about, what did you do in combat? What was it like? And the veterans don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to relive those kinds of experiences.
I just want to add something to what you just said there. It's interesting you say that on the differences in standards. So I met with a veteran just the other day, screened a veteran, and we were talking about alcohol use. And he said it's so different when he's in the college communities, he's going to school. And if somebody drinks too much, he said, they don't really care. They don't say, don't get into a car, don't drive. He said, but as a Marine, he said, we looked out for each other. And we weren't gonna let our buddies get in the car and drive if they drank too much. So I found that to be interesting, just kind of adding to what you're saying, Bill.
Ma'am? I'm wondering if the university has a tutoring and/or mentoring program specifically for vets, and it does have
We have a veterans office, and they administer some things like that, but the normal tutoring comes through the tutoring center.
The tutoring center, so nothing specific
No,
for?
specific, at this time, there's been some discussions about having an outreach center that works with them. We've got to go out there and find them. They're out there in the communities. 2%, that doesn't help any of us. We've got to get those people opportunities to advance and move ahead.
Yeah.
And
When I was,
LCSC's got a phenomenal program. I'm familiar with the Idaho State program. They have a room in every building where a vet is challenged. He or she can go to that room, pick the phone up, and they'll have someone come from the vet center over and get them and bring them over, so they don't get out of that panic. They give them extra time to take exams. So those are some things that the university's exploring. I think that we're starting to move in the right direction.
when I was teaching, I had a couple of vets in my classes, and they had a hard time concentrating, and as an instructor, I didn't have time to tutor them. But I think they would have benefited from individual tutoring in the specific subject areas and having discussions with people who are knowledgeable about the subject area.
The whole approach of teaching them is so much, it's got to be different from the normal college, high school.
Yeah.
Because they sense, they feel, they touch. They're not, up there right now. And when I read this article of the 5 strengths that they bring, one of the things that a strong university that has a strong veterans program is classes for faculty. How do you take this student into it? Use that service, that desire to be a service, desire to help as a component of your teaching. Instead of having a classroom, we've got the X amount of books to go out and do this.
Yeah.
And those are some really successful strategies that are being used. And I've had a discussion with the provost.
Service
He's very
learning,
much
it's called service learning.
Jill had a question. I wanted to go back to something Bill said when you talked about the procedure and wanting to do the choice about where you could go, but you said the money wasn't there, and I don't quite understand, because the procedure would cost.
Well, the procedure, you would choose a local doctor, and you go in, and then that doctor would bill VA.
Right.
And so the money that legislators in Washington appropriate just isn't enough to deal with it. And there's been a real pushback by the various veterans hospitals and things that, oh, that's our responsibility. So that's that battle.
So if you went to Spokane, that would be included in the.
No, because I live outside 90 miles of that facility. But when I said, okay, I'm going to invoke the choice program, the person said, oh, no, you've got a facility down in Lewiston. I said, no, that facility belongs to Walla Walla. I can't use it. And so round and around we went. So finally, when I got it straightened out, they said, it is. It's a real challenge. It's real frustrating for veterans. It brings into some of the issues that the court deals with.
To not even be able to go to Brittman or.
Ideally, I've been a strong advocate of that. That's what makes these small communities very very, I think it'd be home-based health would be very important. Plus it brings economy into the, brings money into the local economy. And
Yeah, I appreciate, and I've been involved with a couple of these, not the vet school. What is, because obviously somebody who comes to the vet school, it may be drugs, it may be mental health issues. What is the coordination, overlap, integration of the various courts? Because obviously this person isn't just a vet. They're this person that has these issues. So how do you, because you're the district director, correct?
Right.
How do you collaborate, coordinate with the prosecutor? I know we have a very good prosecutor's office here who works with Judge Stegner, is very good. But how do you set up a plan, a program, or whatever, for somebody who might be covered by 2 or 3 of these?
Right, okay, let me give an example, okay. So I've got somebody who is going through our mental health program in Nez Perce County, but he's a veteran. And we assessed him and we're like, his mental health needs are too much for the Veteran Treatment Court to be able to put resources in place, although we do have him engaged with resources with the VA, but he's not in Veteran Treatment Court. So we take a look at that, and we're determining this also through their assessments, through discussions between our stakeholders, our team members, where do we think would be the best place for this person to go? For instance, if they come in with a mental health issue, and they're not a veteran, and we're looking at for mental health court, now they've got to come in with a mental health diagnosis that is what we call, or once was called an Access 1, I think that's changed through the DSM-5 now. But that would be somebody, for instance, we have 5 diagnoses that we look at there. We look at major depression, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar, and delusional disorder. So we're looking at those 5. If they come in with moderate depression, we're probably going to maybe look at them for drug court if they have a drug issue and it's significant enough that that's the program they need to be in. So it is, sometimes it can be case by case, most times it's kind of a, which direction that they're going.
So what I'm getting at is you may have veterans involved over here, not just in your court, but also, or instead of with you over
Like the
here in
drug
mental
court.
health court.
Okay, like the mental health
Yeah,
court.
yeah.
Then we'll we've got them identified, we know that they're in a different program other than Veteran Treatment Court. So we'll try and plug in the services there and work with them. Correct.
It seems to me that the University of Idaho had quite involvement when the veterans came back from, I think it was the Second World War. And it seemed like they had housing and I don't know what else. It seemed like they were educating soldiers. Beaucoup. How come we don't have that kind of access now? Was it because it was government sponsored
Well,
or?
GI Bill.
the GI Bill was.
But don't these soldiers have something similar?
Yep, but it's amazing, they got a ticket for $60,000 in their back pocket, approximately 60, it's going up, I think 62,000 now. And a lot of them they don't know about it, and B, they're reluctant to use it. And so that's part of this outreach program that the university's looking at establishing, where they go out and they find these vets, or they find it. And when we talk about vets, make sure we think about, they're just not retired vets. These are young men and women who I think one of the ones that we're looking at right now is 18 years old?
Yeah.
An 18-year-old is going into a veterans treatment court. There's something wrong there. And so when you look at this low number of, 52% have a high school degree or less.
So they need some remediation in education too?
And under socialization, and how do you, because when they hit that wall,
And they need to
what's
know.
left?
That's the biggie.
The drinking.